He lost teams of the NHL. How North American cities lost their hockey dreams. Introduction. When the rink went dark, ice hockey is more than a sport in North America. It's a symbol of identity, pride and belonging. When an NHL team leaves a city, it feels like the soul of that community has been taken away. Fans who once filled arenas wearing their city's colors are left staring at empty rinks, their memories frozen in time. Over the decades, the NHL has witnessed many relocations. Teams that once defined entire regions, from the Quebec Nordiques to the Hartford Whalers, vanished or moved elsewhere, leaving behind emotional and economic scars. But why does this happen? Why would a league with such deep cultural roots allow cities to lose their teams? The answer lies in a mix of business pressures, arena politics, population shifts, and changing media markets. This article explores how and why certain cities lost their NHL teams, and what happened next. The early history of NHL expansion and movement. When the NHL began in 1917, it was a small league with just a handful of teams based in eastern Canada. By the 1920s, the league expanded into the United States. Cities like Boston, Chicago, and Detroit joined the fray. However, even in its early years, instability was common. Teams folded or moved due to financial troubles, poor attendance, and arena issues. The Great Depression hit the NHL hard. Between 1931 and 1942, franchises like the Pittsburgh Pirates, Philadelphia Quakers, and Ottawa Senators, original, disappeared from the map. From the 1940s to 1967, the NHL stabilized with the famous Original Six era: Montreal, Toronto, Boston, Detroit, Chicago, and New York. But after the 1967 expansion, the league grew rapidly, adding new teams across North America, and with that growth came a new wave of risk. Some markets thrived. Others struggled. By the 1970s and 1980s, relocation became part of NHL history, and the list of lost cities began to grow. The economics behind losing a team. Behind every relocation lies one core truth: hockey is both passion and business. Teams don't just play for glory. They need strong fan support, profitable TV markets, and modern arenas. When a city struggles with declining attendance, poor arena facilities, small market size, lack of corporate sponsorship, the franchise becomes vulnerable. Owners look elsewhere, sometimes to larger American markets or newer cities offering lucrative arena deals. Cities often fight to keep their teams, but when public funding or political support fades, teams move. This cycle has repeated throughout NHL history. Case studies of lost teams. Let's dive into the stories of cities that once lived and breathed NHL hockey, and the heartbreak that followed. Quebec Nordiques. Colorado Avalanche, 1995. Perhaps the most emotional relocation in NHL history. The Quebec Nordiques, born in 1972 from the WHA, were beloved across French Canada. Their rivalry with the Montreal Canadiens was legendary, a clash of cultures, languages, and pride. But Quebec City's small market and weak Canadian dollar made it impossible to compete financially. Despite strong fan loyalty, the Nordiques were sold to American investors who moved the team to Denver, becoming the Colorado Avalanche. Ironically, in their first season in Denver, the Avalanche won the Stanley Cup, 1996, a dagger to Quebec fans who still dream of their return. Hartford Whalers. Carolina Hurricanes, 1997. The Hartford Whalers had one of the most iconic logos and loyal fan bases in NHL history. They joined the league in 1979 after the WHA-NHL merger, but Hartford was a small TV market, and their arena, the Civic Center, lacked modern facilities. When state officials refused to fund a new arena, ownership decided to relocate the team to Raleigh, North Carolina. The move broke New England's heart. To this day, fans in Connecticut still wear Whalers jerseys, a symbol of what was lost. See Atlanta Flames. Calgary Flames, 1980. Atlanta's first NHL experiment began in 1972 with high hopes. But the Atlanta Flames faced low attendance, poor TV ratings, and financial strain. Southern U.S. cities simply weren't ready for ice hockey. After just 8 seasons, The team moved north to Calgary, where hockey was already part of the culture. The Calgary Flames went on to win the Stanley Cup in 1989, thriving in their new home. D. Atlanta Thrashers, Winnipeg Jets, 2011. History repeated itself. Atlanta got a second chance with the Thrashers, 1999 to 2011. But again, hockey couldn't find its footing in Georgia. Ownership issues, lack of corporate backing, and arena troubles doomed the franchise. This time, the city of Winnipeg, which had lost its own team years earlier, welcomed the franchise back, reclaiming the name Winnipeg Jets. It was one of the happiest relocations in NHL history. E. Minnesota North Stars, Dallas Stars, 1993, Minnesota, the state of hockey. Losing its NHL team was almost unthinkable. The North Stars, founded in 1967, had passionate fans and a rich legacy. But the team faced financial troubles and low attendance during the early 1990s. When Dallas offered a modern arena and bigger TV market, the owners moved the team south. Minnesota fans were crushed, though in 2000 the Minnesota Wild brought NHL hockey back to the state. Kansas City Scouts, Colorado Rockies, New Jersey Devils. The Kansas City Scouts joined the NHL in 1974, but lasted only 2 seasons due to poor attendance and weak finances. They moved to Denver as the Colorado Rockies, 1976-1982. But success didn't come there either. Eventually, the franchise relocated to New Jersey in 1982 and became the New Jersey Devils, who later won 3 Stanley Cups. A single franchise, 3 cities, a perfect example of NHL instability in that era. Cleveland Barons merged with Minnesota North Stars, 1978. Cleveland's short NHL experiment was a failure. The Barons, formerly the California Golden Seals, struggled financially and on the ice. In 1978, they merged with the Minnesota North Stars, the only time 2 NHL teams combined operations. Cleveland remains one of the few major U.S. cities without an NHL team today. H. Original Winnipeg Jets, Phoenix Coyotes, 1996. Before the Jets 2.0, Winnipeg lost its original NHL team in 1996. The Winnipeg Jets, born from the WHA, were deeply loved but faced economic problems, a small arena and the weak Canadian dollar. They relocated to Phoenix, becoming the Coyotes, now Arizona Coyotes. Years later, as Phoenix struggled with attendance and financial issues, Winnipeg's fans felt bittersweet justice when they got the Thrashers relocated back as the new Jets in 2011-5. The impact on cities and fans when a team leaves, it's not just about losing a game, it's about losing identity. Bars close, merchandise sales vanish, and community pride fades. In Quebec, the loss of the Nordiques still represents a cultural wound, a French-speaking city left behind by a league chasing US dollars. In Hartford, fans still gather every year for Whalers Night. In Atlanta, hockey fans remain frustrated that the sport couldn't succeed twice. Yet fans never forget. Many wear their old jerseys proudly, keeping the memory alive. Attempts at revival, hope on ice. Some cities got second chances. Winnipeg regained the Jets in 2011. Minnesota got the Wild in 2000. Seattle, long without an NHL team, finally entered the league in 2021 with the Kraken. Quebec built a brand new Videotron Center in hopes of getting the Nordiques back, but the NHL hasn't expanded there yet. Still, the dream remains alive for many fans. The love for hockey never leaves, even if the team does. Politics and arena battles. Behind almost every relocation lies a political fight. Cities often debate whether to use taxpayer money for new arenas. Owners demand upgrades or threaten to move. Sometimes the standoff ends in heartbreak, as it did in Hartford and Quebec. In modern times, these negotiations have become more strategic, with leagues using potential relocations as leverage to get better deals. Media, markets, and money. TV markets and sponsorships now matter more than ever. The NHL wants strong U.S. television markets to boost revenue, which partly explains relocations to places like Dallas, Denver, and Raleigh. But with streaming and global fan bases growing, small markets could make a comeback. Social media allows passionate fans in any city to create massive online presence, a potential factor for future team returns. The modern NHL landscape today. The NHL is more stable than it has ever been. With 32 teams and successful expansion to Vegas and Seattle, the league has learned from its past mistakes. But relocation rumors never completely die. Franchises like Arizona Coyotes have flirted with moving, and cities like Houston, Kansas City, and Quebec City are always watching. The NHL's history of lost teams remains both a cautionary tale and a reminder of hockey's powerful emotional pull. Conclusion: the legacy of lost cities bury. Lost NHL City tells a story of love, loss, and hope. Hockey isn't just played on ice. It's played in the hearts of millions. For every arena that went dark, a generation of fans still remembers the cheers, the goals, and the pride. The NHL's past is marked by movement, but its future could bring redemption. Maybe one day the Nordiques, Whalers, or Barons will skate again, because in North America, no hockey dream ever truly dies.